Peter Ross, welcome to my channel. Welcome and thanks for joining me. So, yeah, the vlog I'm presenting soon is all about Australian road crew. And yeah, I wanted to chat with you because I know that you've been in the industry for a while, and I wanted to ask, who have you worked with over the years? And also, I have noticed that there's a title to you, Celebrity Roadie, on your socials. I wanted to ask you how you got that name as well.
Look, my good mate, the barman from the I-94, threw that at me primarily
Right.
because I've got, I had a hiatus from working in the music business, and I worked in the labour movement and communications for a while.
Mhm.
So then I started doing digital comms and things like that, and I'd pop up places and do. We did a TV series called Monday Evening Gunk out of the mosh pit during COVID, and we do it on Wednesday. So barman just come on tagging that because everywhere he'd look, I'd be. Yeah,
That's
but
funny.
and if there's a shameless attention seeker, it's him.
He's actually quite funny at times too. So yeah, I
Yeah, he
believe
is. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the two of us are kind of like a yin and yang. That
that.
that he's the polar opposite of me on everything, and it's great. He's a really
Oh,
good guy.
good. So
Yeah.
yeah, so which kind of scene was your sort of highlight, or your, like, what bands were you predominantly with?
I first started off working for a band. Well, look, I was working in a bank when I first left school, and a guy I work with had a band, and he knew I'd played in bands because I'd played when I was a kid and stuff, and he said, "We need a hand. We're doing a support to, would you believe, Do Re Mi at the University of Technology in about 1980, I don't know, 83, 82,
Yeah.
maybe 82." And he said, "You want to come and do the load in for me?" And I've gone, "Yeah, okay." I went, "Yeah, I can load gear." I did all that. The road crew were very, old school kind of guys, and I carried the gear, set it up, plugged in, did as I was told, which is what you did in those
Yeah.
days. And the monitor engineer said, "Oh, we're going out for dinner now. This is how the fallback desk works." And then he just left me,
Oh
and the
dear.
band went on, and I'd never. So I started, I did it. Kind of figured it out, and the band came
Yeah.
off, and they said, "That was fantastic. Do you want to work for us?" And I said, "Okay." So next thing I know, I'm working for this band, and they're doing maybe 3 or 4 shows a month, I guess, and we're doing like at the trade union club and all that sort of stuff. And then you just start going from band to band. I left them with one of my long-term collaborations, which is the Psychotic Turnbuckles.
Mhm. Yep.
Started with the Turnbuckles in about 1984
Mhm.
or 85, and I still kind of have a hand in that to this day.
Yeah.
And that I was working for, yeah, I was working for the Screaming Tribesmen for about 10
Yeah.
years. The Hitmen, of course. So
Yeah.
spent a lot of time as Chris Mazurk's guitar tech. And
Fantastic.
Chris
Yeah.
and I still do Chris when he comes over to Australia. I did some shows. We toured with the church, which was great fun. I ended up doing a little bit of work with the church at the end. All those, Lime Spiders
Yeah.
and
Fantastic.
all those. Look, if they had Marshalls, they had guitars, and they had leather jackets, I was kind of there for a long time. Yeah, I remember doing the Candy Harlots and Kings of the Sun, and I'd go off. I did bands like Swanee, and I did Shane Howard from Goanna,
Oh
and
wow.
Sean Kelly's B and the Dukes, which was a really good experience. They were lovely folks. Like, you
Wow.
just end up working for so many things, and I ran a production company for a while, and
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff.
Because the
We all
industry
get.
is small, isn't it? And people, we all know each other.
Well, that's exactly right. Like
Yeah.
the crew guys that I went out for lunch last Sunday with like 4 guys who were a little bit ahead of me, the older school guys. I remember
Mm.
my first proper tribesman tour, and I was working with these old guys. One of them had worked with two of them had worked with the Little River Band,
Yeah.
and one of them ended up going on to work for Ice House and all this sort of stuff. And like working with those older guys, because there's these generations, right? And I worked with a guy who mixed Judy Garland at the Sydney Stadium.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And he also filled in for Bruce Jackson, who was Elvis's monitor guy in Las Vegas for a week.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and
Amazing.
so, and that's how small it is, right?
Yeah.
You end up working with a guy who's worked for Elvis.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
I
it's
know,
like, what?
crazy.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, okay, well, yeah. Like I did monitors for a guy called DJ Fontana, who was Elvis's drummer from
Wow.
57 to 67. He was a lovely old Southern gent. Yeah, I'd like just every now and again I'll be in a shop and I'll hear a song and I'll go, hang on, I think I toured with them.
Oh, wow. Isn't
And
that,
that's what happens for a lot of us.
yeah, I love that. That's awesome. I definitely have seen you because all those bands that you've mentioned, Candy
Yeah.
Harlots, Screaming Tribesmen, I didn't see the Hitmen. I think I was a bit
Mm.
too young for them. Yeah, but I reckon I've definitely seen you around for sure.
Look, I'm probably very quick and wearing black, darting in and out. So primarily I've been a stage roadie more than anything else, which is
Yeah.
like a guitar technician. So
Well, I
I've,
read somewhere that if you're invisible, you're doing a good job.
yeah, well, that's it.
The bands make it rock, but the roadies make it roll.
And that's the problem. The most heinous thing you can be called by other road crew is a pop star. If the boys start calling you a pop star, you know you're in trouble.
Yeah. Oh, how funny.
But most roadies, where they fall down is that they want to be a pop star. There's this whole image of people looking at the stage and everything, and they don't realise they're there to work, and they get stuck in that they want to be a star as well.
Also, Peter, in your experience, I was wondering, I mean, I've myself, as a punter, have seen the changes in the last, 30 odd years. I think I started probably about 1985, 86, going out to see bands on a regular basis. Just in regards to the road crew industry, the technology and stuff, what do you think's kind of been the biggest change, maybe? I know there were wild, unregulated sort of days in the 70s where, I've read Ron Clayton's book.
Ron Clayton,
crazy,
Ronnie,
but
Ronnie Clayton,
Ron Clayton.
and Stuart Coop's book's pretty good too.
Yeah, they're really good
Yeah.
books. And Ron's in particular, you can tell that they were kind of very wild and very unregulated.
Those TMG days for those guys. They were like, everyone's done supports to TMG. Ron Clayton is just an absolute legend. But those guys, they used to think that we were cats because we had trucks with brakes in them. Those guys would get like them touring with Sherbet and TMG. Yeah, they'd go into a country town. They'd be doing a show. The local boys would think they were looking at their girls, and they'd turn up with guns.
Yeah,
try to shoot at them.
Yeah, I read that. That's crazy.
It's real stories, that stuff,
Yeah.
Like they used to work at the regions. They'd go to like outreaches. They'd play Orange and Dubbo and Blaney and Wangaratta and all that sort of stuff. And they're very territorial. But I think for me, as time's got on, there's been a professionalisation. Guys are more and more pro as time goes on.
Yeah.
Gear's got more complicated and lighter. So as the gear's got lighter and more sophisticated, the crew got smarter.
Yeah.
Lighting guys are dealing with digital computer networks, essentially. These days, every light is a microcomputer that's plugged together by essentially what's an IP address, like you'd have in a computer network.
Yeah.
So those guys are very heavily reliant on tech. All the audio stuff these days, there's a lot of computer networking, cross-pollination into it. So digital desks. And the guys, I deal with a lot of young road crew these days. I run a couple of theatres. I run theatres for the Georges River Council, the Marana Theatre in Hurstville, where I first saw Radio Bird, or not Birdman, but I saw the Hitmen and Lime Spiders and not Midnight Oil, and I saw Air Supply there. Civic Centre, that's right. Yeah, Hurstville Civic Centre.
I've seen posters.
So I run those theatres these days.
Right.
I remember seeing Split Ends there when Neil Finn joined the band, and the Angels on the Face to Face tour.
Oh,
and it was wild, right? And so, but there's a professionalisation. They treat it more like a professional career now. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of engineers that come out of places like AIM or JMC
Bands,
who, once they finish that, they have to come out and actually learn how to do it. Because they go to they learn theoretic. But anyone can mix a band. Anyone can stand there and mix a band. The skill is knowing what to do when it goes wrong, and it goes wrong all the time. I did one last night, and the drummer's kick drum just stopped working. Now, luckily next to me, I had a spare kick drum pedal, so I grabbed that and ran on. Had a look. I'm not going to fix this in a hurry, so I changed it out in about 15 seconds in between songs. But that's what you do. You carry spares. My experience is that, and this is the problem the younger techs have, is that they always want the very complicated high-end solution. See the power or a cable. That's what it is 90% of the time.
Of course.
Something simple. But
And I think I wanted wanted to demystify or just sort of that stigma, because I know in the 80s maybe there was like this stigma that, he's just a roadie, and that they didn't have skills and abilities and knowledge, but that's far from the truth.
Well, you talk to any band, they rely on their crew. Yeah, I play in a couple of bands myself, and when guys are good, they're gold. They're solid gold. Yeah. Bands always respect their crew. Yeah. And if they don't, they find out in a very horrid way that they should have. Because I've seen when it turns bad, and sometimes it can, because people on the road get tired and cranky. When it turns bad, it gets very ugly. I remember doing a tour in '87, and we were opening for the Cult when they were out here. Mm-hmm. The Cult had just broken America, and they weren't happy about being in Australia. Oh. They wanted to be in America and lapping it up, doing a lap of honour. Oh, okay. And so every night of this tour, they were just trashing equipment, like breaking gear. And their crew would kind of saying, can you not? Like, we've got to use this again tomorrow. Yeah. And by the end, the crew had been with them for a couple of years, building up to like their big break. And pretty much at the end of the tour, they sent all the crew back to England and went to America without them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but that happens. Yeah, but they said they were tired apparently. But yeah, it's a famous story if you'd speak to anyone who was on that tour, because I think the Headstones with Chris Flynn, they toured the Brisbane part of the tour. We did Adelaide and Melbourne and Sydney and Newcastle, and they were awful. They behaved very badly. Yeah. I still go and see them, and like,
of course, yeah.
everyone like Mazwak says to me, he says, if you stopped listening to everyone who you thought was objectionable as a person, you wouldn't listen to much music.
Yeah, totally. And I think they played at Selena's, actually.
Yeah, we did those shows. Yeah. We love that record. I still listen to it and go, gee, it's a good 100%. Record, Yeah, killer. I saw them last time they were out here a couple of months ago, and they were fantastic. And I was like, oh, they look happy. So every time I watch them, every time I go and see them, I watch them to see what sort of temper, what mood they're in.
Yeah. Honestly, I even when just during the sort of course of the vlogs that I've been doing, I think something that really not shocked me but just amazed me, I think, was learning about all these bands, like even not so much the Cult maybe, but like The Cure and some other, like Motorhead and all these other bands that in my eyes are sort of huge, and they were playing all these like pubs in Sydney. Yeah. I find that crazy.
I saw The Cure at Bexley North Hotel in 1981. It was a Monday night, and they were great. And then down the road here at the Sundowner, which is the famous old pub. Yeah. I saw XTC on a Monday night.
Oh, fantastic.
And they were mind-blowing. Like, wow. Yeah. Like, but that era, a lot of those bands would come out here, because this was a bit of a proving ground for a lot of bands. Like the Australian bands were very, very good at what they did. Like bands like AC/DC, of course, and you've read about Tana Douglas in the Roadies book. Like that band played hundreds and hundreds of shows everywhere they could. And the only reason I kept on saying to young guys nowadays, there's nothing wrong with a band that 150 shows isn't going to fix.
Yeah.
AC/DC just got overseas and played in front of 20 people. And by the time they finish their set, 50 people will be there, and the next time there'd be 200. That is because people just go, we can't believe how good those guys are. Yeah. And the reason why they're that good is, there's no substitute for doing the work,
I agree. And I think that's such a good thing, to just hone those skills and keep playing until you're just, obviously better and better at your craft. Is it not so much maybe the workload? Is it easier? Is it harder now? Is there more competition? Less competition? Like, do you have a lot of people wanting to work in the industry now?
Yeah, there is. In the 70s, 80s, and even into the 90s, there were all these independent production companies. They've all gone by the wayside. Like, there are all these on a Wednesday night, you drive up William Street, King's Cross, and be all the road crews in trucks, 8-ton trucks, racing to drop their trucks somewhere in King's Cross, and we'd go to the Mansell Room and have a beer, right? Yeah. And like you'd see all the road crew there at 3 o'clock in the morning, and that's how it was. But now it doesn't kind of seem to work that way. There's not that level of touring doesn't occur. Like I know with the Tribesmen, we used to do about 40 weeks a year, and It was a lot. It was really tiring. And when we had a week off, we still had to make a living. So we'd jump on like the next tour for 12 weeks, Wow. But we do 4 shows a week. You do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, maybe a Sunday. Then Monday it'd be drive day. Tuesday you'd be home drop off. You'd do your laundry. Wednesday you'd be driving or ready to do the next show. And you would do that for like a month, then have a week off and go back at it. The workload was massive, and I don't think that level of touring doesn't exist anymore. When I talk to young guys about it and say we had an 8-ton truck with 60 lamps, a double 4-way and backline, they'd go, and who carried it all? You go, we did. We did,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, I know Australian road crew have got a great reputation, and I was reading stories, it might have been in Stuart's book, where in America, like they sort of get in there and help and do what they wanted to do.
D-Mark.
There are stories, where it's unionised.
Yeah.
And the guys are there saying, no, you can't do that, you can't touch that. That's
exactly right.
Too.
It's not how we work. I've spoken to a lot of my mates who have done like big American touring, and they go, if something goes wrong, they want to jump in and help. It's like, nope. Down tools. If anyone touches this, you're out. Like I guess that protects them a little bit from that. Yeah, it's a little extreme. It's not how we work here. It's one in, all in. Like it was always that you just I remember doing Townsville to Sydney. We left Townsville. We did a show in Townsville Thursday. We left Friday. Then we played Sydney on the Sunday, and we drove. We just arrived at the venue and loaded in. Drove to the venue, loaded in, and did the show. The workload was kind of insane. I remember we did a video clip Friday at the Trade Union Club. We were there at like 5 a.m. Loading in at 5 a.m. Set the PA up, shot the clip all day. Did the show at the Trade that night until about probably got out at about 2:30 or 3 o'clock. Then we had 2 hours sleep and loaded into Caringbah in at 7 for the next day of the shoot. Did that show. Finished that, packed the truck, drove to Jindabyne. We got to Jindabyne and we started setting up, and the band came in and sort of said, that's not right, we want to change this. And then the tour manager then grabbed the band and said, you're going back to the hotel, don't talk to them. Do not talk to them, because you could just tell that we're going to lose our minds.
Oh my goodness. And that's the thing, the distance between places, it's just
uniquely
harsh.
Australian. Uniquely Australian. Like the days of the overnight, you'd finish at 1 o'clock in Richmond in Victoria and play St George Budapest on Sunday, load in at 12 o'clock the next day. You just get the drive,
Yeah. And look, it brings me to the love of the job. I was reading some of the 70s guys, it's a bit of a gypsy kind of existence. But there's a massive dedication to the band, and as well as just a love of music. And they're in it because they love doing it. So that's obviously the case for you over the years, that you've just loved the job.
My favourite bit is that 15 minutes before the band goes on, like we'd have an intro tape that went for 30 minutes, and we would know the songs that were in it in order.
Yeah.
So I would be gauging how I'm travelling in, getting my prep going. By when we got up to that song, I should have the drum kit checked and the monitors on that, and move on to the guitars. So then that 15 minutes before the band comes on, the adrenaline's rising. I'm doing my final checks. The band hits stage, and that first song, if you got it right or not. Yeah. And that was the exciting part, right? But I guess for a lot of us, and there's a lot of guys who didn't make it through that world, and that's why mobs like Support Act, and there's the ARCA guys, the Australian Crew Association guys. There's a lot of talk amongst road crew now about mental health and how all that works. And there's a lot of guys who didn't make it. Yeah. There's a lot of guys you work with a lot of people who are really unwell too, like really, really, really unwell. Yeah. And they're unwell. Sometimes they're good at their job, sometimes they're not. But that we love the job, but it doesn't do you any favours. You know?
And there's burnout. I mean, obviously there's burnout in every sort of industry, even in the education sort of world. But I was wondering, with that road crew world, no superannuation. If you had a back injury, bad luck, we're just going to replace you. No workers' comp, no holiday pay. But luckily, Support Act and that ARCA group.
They're stepping in a bit. ARCA, Australian Road Crew Association is one, and Crew Care's another one, which is Howard Page and those guys as well. Yeah. A lot of those, they're sort of filling in that space, and I think it's really, really important. Yep. Just sitting with the old fellas the other day and talking about, we have a conversation about mental health and physical and our physical health and all that sort of stuff. So a lot of us still talk offline, and if someone's not traveling well, word travels really fast, and people kind of jump around and have a chat or see what it is. I kind of like that side of it. I think it's very because I spent 22 years working in the labour movement as well.
Yeah.
So I was working for Actors Equity and the Crew Union and the Musicians Union and the Journalists Union.
Yeah.
And so all of those sort of creative fields, there's a lot of commonality in how people, the thing is, with the highs you get, there's always a commensurate low. And you need to know, once you're aware of that, you're a lot better off.
Yeah.
I manage my son's band these days, and we have very long conversations with all the band about, how you're feeling now and how you'll feel the day after a big show. You can see it. So you need to manage that, bit of self-care. And that is where the music business has really grown up a bit, I think.
Yeah, improved.
It has. You need to make sure that, you look after yourself, because it is hard. Like,
well, the security's not always there, is it? Like,
no.
And a person working 9 to 5 has got that, they know they're going to get paid in the next fortnight. Whereas when you're in that creative world, I know that it's a risk that they take, becoming a musician or becoming involved in the road crew scene, where you don't know for sure. There's that security's not really there, is it?
No, look, I think often, especially in emerging bands, the road crew get paid well before the band. Yeah, like I worked for bands and they were on $250 a week, and I wouldn't be going for $250 a week.
Yeah, but I guess their benefits come later.
Well,
if they become successful,
bet big, win big, bet big, lose big, and that's the thing. And and you kind of respect their or admire their tenacity in doing that sort of stuff, But like, gee, you can have a good time, and it's the music that we all love, right? And that's the thing. Once you work for a band that you really connect with, it's just so much fun, you just absolutely love it. All the guys I worked with back in the glory days of pub rockers, glory days of pub rock, I'm still really close to most of them. I think, I talk to all of them weekly.
Yeah,
it's really nice,
Yeah.
They're all good guys and they're all decent men, and they're all still playing music.
Yeah, and there are a lot of really. I've gotten to know a lot of road crew over the years, because I was a regular punter at so many gigs. That's what I did with my friends. We were like 4 nights a week, 5 nights a week, and you meet them. I've lost my jumper. Oh, the roadie picked it up. You just sort of, and it's a small world, I find,
it is.
Especially in Sydney. And you get to sort of know who's sort of working where, and there's that guy again. Even people like Gary Maddox. I saw him. Gary's at the Enmore these days, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
There. But he worked for Ian Moss. He worked for the Angels, I think.
Gary used to work for a metal band called Heaven.
Oh yeah, yep.
And Gary was the loudest guy. I toured with Gary. We did a Swanee tour together. Yeah. And Gary was just hilarious. I love Gary. Because Gary's really deceptively smart too, right?
Yeah.
It was Gary and a dear departed mate, Greg Clarke, who, don't know if you met Clarke. And Clarke and Gary Maddox were the 2 loudest sound guys I ever met. It was a badge of pride to be louder than everyone else, It'd be really loud. He could find 3 dB out of any PA and make it louder. And he'd go, well, if they didn't want them to flash, why would they put the red lights on there?
I'm glad you brought Clarke up. I including him in my vlog, and I saw him everywhere. I'm sure. I went to that benefit concert as well that they had for him at the Enmore. Just this morning, I was watching the 1984 Midnight Oil doco that they had.
Yeah, it's great movie.
Oh, wasn't it? And I noticed there was just this part where I was watching it and I thought, oh, how fantastic, where Peter Garrett was just letting all the punters on stage at one point, dancing with them, and it was just the energy was really palpable. It just looked powerful and fun. It looked like you'd watch the guys in the crowd, the audience, and they're all just singing along, and it just it was a very unique, I think, period.
It was.
in the 80s.
To be fair, if people get on stage, you just want to kill them because they'll
Yeah,
break
I
something
guess
or
from
make
your-
a showstopper. You just don't want to.
Yeah.
I'll just be hitting them with the shoulder or moving them on, you know?
Yeah, it's good for TV, I guess, but yeah, I guess.
There's that Goat Island show when they're jumping up on stage and
Oh,
stuff. It's
yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. The Midnight Oil were a special, special, special band.
Yes, they are. Definitely, definitely.
There'd be a number of stories I could tell, but they'd have to get legal.
Yeah.
Look, there's millions and millions of stories about, lost luggage. And nowadays, something goes wrong, they get on the phone and ring their mate and say, bring it down. But when I was touring, if you had to ring a support act to tell them load in was at 3 o'clock, you'd pull over the side of the road, get 20 cents out, put it in a phone, ring them. If they were home, you were lucky. If they had an answering machine, lucky again. But you just had to try your luck, you just never knew. Yeah, I did step away for a while because it just, I had a look at what was 10 years ahead of me.
Yeah.
Went, nah, you've actually got to address that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I was going to say. Some people do give it up. I've read even in Stuart's book that there are people that gave it up in their 30s and they just went totally, different industry. And then others go into production or they move into areas where they can refine their skills.
Yeah. Well, like I was working for audio hire company for a couple of years, and I went back out the road. Then at the end, I wasn't enjoying it. There was one band I worked for that, if anyone asked me about it, I say they cured me of my love of rock and roll. And I sort of, I gave up. I went to uni, got a degree, went and worked for a while, but then, it's like the mob. Once you're out, you can never get out. They keep on dragging you back in. Phone call comes. Could you give us a hand with that? The next thing you know, I'm in a truck again, driving somewhere. It's like, how did that happen, you bastard?
It's addictive.
It is. It really, really is. But it's that thrill. It's the love, the shows. I was working with my son's band, but also...
What are they called?
They're called Pocketwatch.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, and they're a rock and roll band. The band that was headlining is the son of a guy I toured with in the 80s. Like, do you know Warwick Fraser?
Yeah, from...
Tribesmen, Black Feather. Yeah.
Tribesmen.
Well, Warwick's son, Marcus, has got a band called Star Crazy.
Oh, fantastic.
And so our two sons play together all the time.
Wow.
And it's like, I actually saw Warwick last night.
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
It's hilarious that, all these years. I worked with Warwick 40 years ago.
Wow.
And now our kids are playing together.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, that's amazing. Oh, good.
But that's rock and roll.
Yeah. And I think even for punters that, people, I mean, not everybody at my age even, I'm in my 50s and I still like to go and see rock and roll bands, but a lot of people, sort of not gave it up, but they don't do it as regularly as I do. I mean, I have sort of slowed down a bit lately, but I think it is addictive for me. It's something that it's the thrill of the live scene. I mean, there were many times I remember even in the 80s and 90s where I didn't care if I bought the album. I just wanted to see them live.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Right. It was like that energy.
Yeah, like there's something about a band when they get it right and they lock in. There's those nights you can remember when a band is playing. I've got a number of occasions where a band I work for nailed it, and some nights everything just goes right and you just go, "This is the greatest." Do the same thing the next night, all goes to shit. Nothing you can do to save it. There's all these there's so many variables. So I think that's what makes it interesting. Absolutely. There's so many things that you can do to get it right and get it wrong,
Yeah, totally.
But the good guys get it right more often than not, But I do think nowadays, the shows I see, the bands I see, the musicians are good, really, really good. The kids are learning off YouTube and getting tutorials from the greatest performers of all time, Yeah. And the crew are smarter, and the crew are a lot smarter. Like, I see it all the time, that they're like, the stuff that they're focusing on is like levels above where we were, beyond, will the truck make it to the gig? They're looking at very high level stuff. And I kind of respect that about young folks as well.
Of course.
There's some future for it, but, sometimes I think they could be toughened up just a little bit.
Yeah. And any regrets at all, Peter? Any sort of
No, not really.
Yeah,
It was just a hoot, yeah. And it was an
absolutely.
absolute hoot. Yeah, I think I should have figured out that the writer wasn't my friend much earlier. I gave up drinking about 30 years ago.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I got that's one of the things I did. Yeah, when I first went off the road, I got clean, and that was
Yeah.
the smartest thing I ever did. So I've been sober for about 30 years,
Oh,
and
that's great.
I think a lot of road crew guys didn't get that memo.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
unfortunately, there's still that connection to when you're in a club and there's music and there's people and they're all partying, that it does have that association with alcohol, which can
yeah,
be good on one hand and really
it's okay. I don't
ugly on
care
the
who.
other.
I don't care what they do. And,
Yeah,
I don't care. It's me.
yeah,
I know how it affects me badly, and I figured that
yeah,
out, luckily. But a lot of people don't figure out. Like I know a lot of people who should never be drinking, but
yeah,
that's all right. That's cool.
yeah,
It's their choice, you know.
yeah, of course, of course. Well, I think that's it. But yeah, I just wanted to thank you for all that this insight as well. It's been fantastic. So thank
Oh,
you for joining me, Peter.
no problem at all.
Do you work with those other blokes?
Yes, my second year with them at the Wreckers. Where do you work?
At the square.